From stories across the world to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. A very good evening to you. I'm Nitya Sarat Chandra.
And I'm Tilina Udayaratna. We start off with a look at tonight's top stories. The Jaffna International Airport is declared open. Presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa pledges to provide fertilizer free of charge to all farmer communities in the country. Minister Mangala Samaravira challenges presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa to tell him the way to uplift the economy by abolishing all taxations. Avantgarde's chairman is remanded until the 8th of November. An agreement reached between the United Kingdom and the European Union on the Brexit deal.
Now in your top story, this evening the Jaffna International Airport was declared open today. The inauguration was held under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. The commemorative plaque of the Palali Airport, which was declared as the Jaffna International Airport, was opened by the President. A special flight arrived from Chennai with a special Indian delegation marking the commencement of the flight services this morning. The airport is considered as the third international airport in the country. Direct flights between Jaffna and Chennai were commenced with the inauguration of the airport. Flights to the Maldives and Malaysia are also expected to commence from the airport in the near future. Direct flight operations of the airport set to commence from November. A sum of 2,250 million rupees has been invested for the development of the airport. Funds worth 1,950 million rupees were allocated through the government of Sri Lanka. The balance of 300 million rupees will be extended to Sri Lanka as grant assistance from the Indian government, according to Minister Arjuna Ranatunga. Minister Arjuna Ranatunga said that the government initially planned to complete the project in 3 stages. He added that the first phase of the project was to initiate a mechanism to operate 70 to 80 passenger flights in the airport. He said that the Cabinet of Ministers approved country's first civil aviation policy. He also said that any passenger in the country has the ability to reach the airport within 100 to 150 kilometers.
Today is a momentous day in the history of bilateral relations between our two great nations. It is indeed a proud moment for all of us. It's also a reflection of our shared commitment to further strengthen people-to-people ties between our two countries, which lie at the heart of our bilateral relationship. I am confident that the start of international flights between Chennai and Jaffna will increase. I also take this opportunity to thank its leadership and its people for all their support. Thank you very much. Stuti Nanri.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that today is a historic day for Jaffna as the first international airport was declared open by President Maithripala Sirisena. He said that numerous talks were held in the past to establish an international airport in Jaffna. He added that the government initiated talks regarding the development of this airport last year. However, the relevant development work was initiated only in January this year, he further added. He also said that the relevant cabinet paper was submitted in March. He said that the government proceeded with the work, though many questioned the possibility of completion within the set time period. The Prime Minister said that the government was able to establish an international airport in Jaffna within 6 months. Ministers and MP Secretary to the President Udayar Senaviratna and Defence Secretary Shanta Kotegoda were present on this occasion.
Presidential candidate of the New Democratic Front, Minister Sajith Premadasa, says that steps will be taken to provide fertilizer free of charge, not only to paddy farmers, but to all farmer communities in the country. The minister made these remarks while addressing a propaganda rally held in Kakirava, Anuradhapura today. The masses gathered for the rally extended a warm welcome to Minister Sajith Premadasa. Presidential candidate of the New Democratic Front, Minister Sajid Premadasa, pledged to completely resolve the human-elephant conflict prevailing in the area within the first 6 months of his appointment. His counterpart had pledged that he will provide fertilizer free of charge. He said that his counterpart makes all pledges and statements under the instructions of his brother. The minister said that the people of the country must have witnessed how his counterpart became helpless in front of the local and international media. His counterpart had no answers when he was questioned regarding extremism and reconciliation. The presidential candidate of the New Democratic Front pointed out that his counterpart has forgotten about the land crop cultivators when he claimed to provide fertilizer free of charge for such land crop cultivators. The price of paddy will be brought up to 50 rupees within the regulations of the parliament. Steps will be taken to provide fertilizer free of charge for paddy cultivators as well as other crop cultivators. He added that he treats all farmers in the same way.
මගේ ප්‍රතිවාදියට අමතක වුණු ඒ හැම ගොවියෙක්ම එකතු කරලා අනිවාර්යෙන්ම අපි පෝර ටික නොමිලේ ලබා දෙනවා. ඒකේම කලබල වෙන්න එපා. හදින් හද හිතින් හිත මුළු නගර නගර ගම්බින් වාසා ඔබත් මමත් මුළු රටට අද එක්ව නගමු ජය ජය ഘോഷා.
The Anuradhapura District Operations Office of the New Democratic Front was declared open today. It was held under the patronage of presidential candidate Minister Sajid Premadasa. Ministers Chandrani Bandara and P. Harrison were present on this occasion.
Now, presidential candidate of the New Democratic Front, Minister Sajid Premadasa, visited and received blessings from places of religious worship in the Anuradhapura district today. Minister Sajid Premadasa received blessings from the Atamasthana Adhipati Rupavahini Sri Nivasa Thera. He then visited the Jayasri Mabodhi, engaged in religious observances and received blessings. Ministers Chandrani Bandara and P. Harrison were present at the occasion. Subsequently, Minister Sajid Premadasa engaged in religious observances before the Ruwan Valley Mahasaya. Visiting the Sri Saranam the Pirivena in Anuradhapura, Minister Sajid Premadasa received blessings from the Mahasangha led by Chief Incumbent Venerable Attabage Vimala Gnanathera. Afterwards, Minister Sajid Premadasa visited the Isuramuniya Raja Mahavihara and received blessings from Chief Incumbent Venerable Madhava Sri Sumangala Thera.
මේ ඓතිහාසික පූජා භූමියට ඒ සියලු රාජ්‍ය නායකයන්ට වඩා සෑහෙන සාසනික වැඩක් කරුණේ අපේ ගරුවන් කුමාරගේ පියාණන් වහන්සේගේ කාලේ ඉස්තුරුන් රාජ මහාවිහාර.
A propaganda rally of presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Gotabaya Rajapaksa was held in Kuliyapitiya today. Many leaders of the party and party supporters took part in the rally. Presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that food security is important not only to the country but to the entire world. These subsidies were introduced with the aim to uplift the farmer community in the country. All taxations imposed on agriculture will be removed under his administration. He added that tax concessions will be introduced to the business community for new investments and ventures to create new employment opportunities. A massive investment will be made on the education sector. It will be initiated from the first year of his administration. All students eligible for university education will be given the opportunity to receive such education. He also said that the youth who have passed the GCE ordinary level examination but failed the advanced level examination with skills will be given technical and technological education. He added that through a knowledge-centric economy, new job opportunities will be created with considerable wages for them, and the economy will in fact be streamlined to achieve this objective under his administration.
Now, Chairman of the Avant-Garde Maritime Services, Nisanka Senadipati, has been remanded until November 8th in accordance to an order issued by the Colombo High Court. Nisanka Senadipati was produced before the Special High Court at Bar today after he was taken into custody at the Katunaika International Airport. The chairman of the Avant-Garde Maritime Services arrived at the Katunaika International Airport from Singapore at around 11:35 p.m. He was taken into custody over an order issued by the Galle magistrate for violating the foreign travel ban imposed on him. He was charged for allegedly maintaining an illegal armory in MV Avant-Garde vessel. The Attorney General made a request on the 12th of August to take up the hearing of the case before a special High Court at Bar without a jury. Subsequently, the Attorney General filed 7,573 indictments against 13 persons, including Chairman of the Avant-Garde Maritime Services, Nisanka Senadipati, with the Colombo High Court on the 10th of September. Another suspect of the case who had arrived from Singapore was taken into custody at the Katunaika International Airport on the 26th of September. A total of 9 suspects, including Nisanka Senadipati, relevant to the case have been taken into custody thus far.
Another phase of launching the national policy series of the National People's Power Movement was held in Kottavatta in Udawalawa. The event was held under the patronage of presidential candidate of the National People's Movement, Anurakumara Disanayaka. The environment policy of the National Policy Series was unveiled today. Both educational and health policies have been launched thus far. Addressing the gathering, presidential candidate of the National People's Power Movement, Anurakumara Disanayaka, said that each government has a responsibility in upgrading and maintaining the ecosystems in the country. The necessary policy framework in this regard should be discussed with the public. Accordingly, they have decided to unveil the policy on environment, Sobamat Sri Lanka. He said that a new culture should be created among the masses on the protection of the environment without enforcing laws to protect it. The local politicians own the main sand mining sites and other mining sites in the country, and they are also behind the deforestation that takes place in the country. He also added that these politicians are also behind the refilling of paddy fields and other lands. Presidential candidate Anurakumara Disanayaka said that the country requires an administration which would take initiatives to safeguard the environment and protect mutual relationships. He said that they will create an exemplary administration in the country.
With that, it's time to take a look into a few comments and remarks made by several presidential candidates ahead of the forthcoming presidential run. Presidential candidate of the Janasatha Perumana Venerable Battaramulle Sila Ratanathera said that all should come together to protect the motherland. He said that all come to power saying that they will rescue the country, though most of them end up selling the country. He then questioned the loyalty of presidential candidates Sajith Premadasa, Gotabaya Rajapaksa and the JVP. And he said that if presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa had truly adored the country, he would have developed the country along with Mahinda Rajapaksa when they were in power. Therefore, he requested the people to rally around them to rebuild the country. Presidential candidate of the Frontline Socialist Party, Duminda Nagamo, said that the standards on environment are necessary during the development process of a country. He said that an economic policy is required which could calculate the forest density, levels of air indexes and many other environmental aspects. He said that the environment should be included in the economic components, data and criteria. He also added that health and well-being of the public should be included as well. He said that these requirements have not been prioritized at present and considered in the development process of the country. He said that if the generations in the country continue to get sick and die at the ages of 30 to 40, then that issue should be discussed at the national level. Presidential candidate of the Socialist Equality Party, Rupavahini Vijay Sirivardhana, said that the other presidential candidates point out that the forthcoming election is a decisive election. He said that the policy framework of his party is the most decisive factor in the election. He said that they are expecting to transform their supportive groups in India and Pakistan into revolutionary party branches and spread their party ideology across the region.
Minister Mangala Samaravira says that certain entities in the opposition make false statements claiming that measures will be taken to abolish taxations which have not been imposed on the people. He made these remarks during a media briefing held at the Ministry of Finance today. Minister Mangala Samaravira said that the government expects a total of 530 billion rupees annually through the VAT. The limit has been increased up to 100,000 rupees. The government has taken steps to increase the limit up to 125,000 rupees. If the tax, which is at 15% at present, is to be reduced down to 8%, then the country will incur a loss of 350 billion rupees a year. The present government increased the limit of the VAT from 62,500 rupees to 100,000 rupees. He added that presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa claims that he will reduce the VAT to 8%. He then questioned the way to make up for the loss incurred with the tax reduction. He also questioned the way to deduct the expenditures. Presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa has no answers to these queries. He also said that presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa has claimed to remove all taxes imposed on the farmer communities. The present government has only imposed taxes on large-scale agricultural companies but has not imposed taxes on the imported agri equipments. Therefore, the minister said that to abolish taxations which have not been imposed on the people claimed by the opposition is a false statement.
Let's take a look at some few local news items in brief now. A suspect with a stock of heroin worth 10 million rupees in his possession was taken into custody in the Nalluru area in Panadura today. According to the Kalathura District Crimes Division, the suspect had 1 kilogram and 200 grams of heroin in his possession when he was arrested. Consumer Affairs Authority has taken more than 21,000 kilos of dried sprats which are unsuitable for consumption into custody in a storage complex in Marbola, Wattala. According to reports, the stock of sprats was mixed with sand and salt prepared to be distributed to restaurants. The arrested suspect will be produced before the magistrate tomorrow. A group of foreigners have been taken into custody in Bandaramulla area in Mirissa yesterday for stealing monies from ATM machines. They were arrested by the Kotavilla police. The police said that the group has carried out such scams in several areas across the country. Popular social media personality Ashwin Seneviratne arrived to the police headquarters today to lodge a complaint regarding the misinformation and aggression spread against him.
Sri Lanka signed 2 agreements with the Netherlands for 14 billion rupees worth financial assistance for the construction of 200 rural bridges and the establishment of a vocational training institute in Polonnaruwa. The agreements were signed at the Ministry of Finance recently. The agreements were signed by Secretary to the Ministry of Finance, Dr. R.H.S. Samaratunga, and the Director of the Rabobank, Han Bartels. The signing of the agreements took place in the presence of the Ambassador of the Netherlands, Tanya Gongrich. The construction of rural bridges project initiated by the government is aimed at connecting rural areas to the developed regions. The government has accorded high priority for connectivity improvement in the country with a view to providing full benefits from mainstream development activities to the remote villagers. The government has identified around 200 rural bridges to be constructed with the concessional financial assistance of the Netherlands. The Rabobank of the Netherlands will provide 2 export credit facilities to cover 75% of each contract cost. The balance 25% will be financed by 2 grants extended by the development-related infrastructure investment vehicle of the Dutch government.
Now in your stock update this evening, the All Shares Price Index closed at 5,860.09 points, increased by 23.47 points, and the S&P SL20 Index closed at 2,887.86 points, also increased by 6.80 points at the end of trading in the Colombo Stock Exchange. Today, now turnover is over 526 million rupees. Now in your weather update this evening, the Met Department says that the possibility for afternoon thunder showers remains high over most parts of the island. Showers of thunder showers will occur over most parts of the island, particularly after 2 p.m. and showers will occur in Uva and southern provinces during the morning hours too. Now heavy falls above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in western, central, Sabragamo and northwestern provinces and in Anuradhapura, Mena and Vavuniya districts, with misty conditions to be expected in some places in Sabragamo, central Uva and north central provinces during mornings. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers.
Well, that's a wrap on tonight's Rupavahini English News. Join us once again tomorrow for the very latest. Until then, good night.
Good night.